Jullie niet gecontroleerd op getuigd bij de ingang, maar we zijn ervan overtuigd dat het ook zonder slagroom een bijzonder boeiende voordracht zal worden. Graag al jullie aandacht en een warm applaus voor onze keynote speaker, meneer Jamie Shea.
Tom, thank you very much, but a word of advice for your future career. The introduction is not meant to be funnier or better than the speech, right? I think he heard that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for inviting me here today. Feels like the good old days, like Frank Sinatra. I have the opportunity of a old age comeback in later life. To speak about communication. I do so with great pleasure. I'm also extremely embarrassed that after 20 years in Belgium I still can't do this in Dutch. For those of you who did not study Cockney at university, I'm sorry, but a literary text can be distributed afterwards if you so choose. But I also feel a bit intimidated because you're all communications professionals. What can I tell you? I feel a little bit like the seventh husband of Gina Lollobrigida, remember, who he said on their wedding night, I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I can make it interesting. And I have that challenge here before me today. I'm also glad, as you read the words of the standard, that I obviously was far more intelligent in those days than I am today. But thankfully, I can still identify with what I said then and not be embarrassed by it, as so many of us, of course, are very embarrassed by what we said just a few years ago. I'm going to sort of give you my very personal, you know me, very personal view on the challenges of communicating crises and how to deal with the media, what the relationship is, what the relationship should be, in my opinion. And I start off by sort of quoting from Pitt the Younger, who was one of, I think, Britain's most effective prime ministers at the time of the Napoleonic Wars. He hated one of my favourite books, which is Edmund Burke's Reflections on the Revolution in France. And Pitt the Younger said that it was a rhapsody in which there was much to admire and nothing to agree with. Well, I hope that you'll find that in my words, if there's nothing to admire, at least there is a lot that you will agree with at the end. What have I learned from my many years on the front line at NATO headquarters dealing with the media? I think the first thing is that you know you're in trouble when television arrives. I think that's the first lesson, because it's television that sort of basically takes a story, news, a development, and turns it into a crisis. The crisis, of course, is not the real thing. It's the media attitude towards the thing. It's the perception, of course, more so than the reality. And, of course, the problem for any organisation is that today organisations deal with a great number of things. They're multi-role. And a crisis normally deals with one specific element of their activity. For example, we had a crisis over Kosovo. NATO does many other things in addition to Kosovo. So the problem is that the media can devote all of their resources to one story, whereas an organisation cannot devote all of its resources to managing a crisis because normal life continues. There are many other things to do. So the essential problem, first and foremost, in any organisation is how can you handle the crisis while also continuing to do all of your day-to-day tasks. The second problem today is that everybody is a journalist. Journalism has become the most democratic profession in the world with modern technology, iPods, obviously satellite telephones, cameras linked to mobile phones, modems, satellite uplinks. Everybody is a recorder of a reality. Anybody can set up a blog and be immediately the centre of their own world and produce their own news and their own stories. This means now that we have an information glut. There is more and more and more of this stuff reaching us faster and faster than ever before. If you think of the World Trade Center, the bombing on 9/11, 2001, we had 7 shots of that on CNN within 45 minutes of the strike on the second tower. Only 2 of those were taken by professional journalists. The rest were all taken by people with the technology who happened to be passing by. So that means that the media now are discovering things much faster than we can. Days have long since disappeared when governments or corporations